Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis. And breaking scoreboard, Simone of the Olympics. Defense and big business, the Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the 3 in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bale in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. What's really good, man? What's really good, man? DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. You feel me? It's a nice hot, mucho caliente, okay? Afuera, ay, ay, ay. I only did that because we had technical difficulties earlier. Had me talking Spanish and stuff. I figured I'd just come back and do it. But what's really good, y'all, man? How the day going? I'm saying I hope everybody doing well. All right, we are 15 to 18 days away from everything happening. All right. NFL training camp started at the end of the month. So I got my ice cream here so I keep cool. All right. That's going to be interesting. We are waiting on Sue Robinson's decision for Deshaun Watson. That's going to be the real talk of the conversation right now. The real talk right now.
You just froze up. You just froze up after you was talking about homegirl. Was it Sue?
I said, when I freeze up?
When you was talking about the decision.
Oh. Yeah, so Sue Robinson decision gonna come down sometime in the next 2 weeks. My prediction is it'll come down on like the 25th, 26th type shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be interesting on those reactions. But what's really good is we need to talk about the rest of our team. All right, because I was having some interesting conversation. All right, and Brown's training camp should be fire this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen. I mean, when I say it should be fire, I mean like, bruh, the Browns will come with a chip on their shoulder this year, y'all. I'm talking about between the Baker Mayfield drama, the Deshaun Watson drama. Man, listen, it's gonna get crazy, y'all. But we spent so much time talking about all the people that's now added to the team. We're talking about, you know, all you know, the guys who could potentially be affected by the moves. You know, with Deshaun Watson getting here, it should be better boxes for the running game. No more 8-man boxes. The receivers should get a lot more time to get open. David Njoku probably is going to have a breakout season. The defense is back with a few additions. But the special teams, that's really what's interesting. We have a new kicking game. We have an entire new kicking game, okay? The punter, I always mess his name up. All right, so I ain't going to try to say his name. but he's got a leg. Then we got K York, who we drafted, who also has a leg and also has a desire to be great. Because, that's the kicking position is something that can really get forgotten about. And to have guys on your team who really take that particular position serious, that goes a long way. All right. The return game should be a lot better with the addition of Jakeem Grant. You still got guys you can throw back there. Maybe DPJ. I don't want to see DPJ back there. I'd rather see Felton back there. I'd rather see Ford back there. I'd rather see Schwartz back there. Some other guys that can really it may be a defensive back that can do some return. I like to see some of that. Let's see some variation back there to see who's going to back up Jakeem Grant. But what I really want to get into is the back end of the roster. The guys who make the final roster spots, who will most likely be guys that play a lot of special teams. And even though, the kicker is very important, the returner is very important, the punter is very important, the placeholder is very important, whether that be one of the quarterbacks or one of the other kickers.
I got the roster. My bad, bro.
Tackle, huh?
No, I was saying my bad. I got the roster on the screen for you too. I don't know if you got it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been seeing. I see that, bro. I appreciate that.
Yes,
the guys on the back end who do the tackling and blocking, that's not like the most important part of the special teams. Now, usually on the team, it's usually all the guys that don't start. All right, so it can be second, it can be reserves, it can be thirds. It just depends. The Browns are a little different, in my opinion, this year, because the Browns could actually have a special team unit that doesn't necessarily take away from the guys who get the bulk of the playing time. So let's start with the linebacking core, because the linebacking core is usually a big part of a special teams. And for how we're probably going to run our linebacking core, I think we come out of there with at least 6 guys, maybe even 7. I think it's 6 for sure. And I think 3 to 4 of those guys will play special teams. It may be situational for some of those guys. It may be just certain games with some of those guys. Guys that don't get enough playing time as far as during the possessions. You can see guys like that get thrown in on the special teams just to, help them be able to still contribute to the team in certain ways. So when I look at the linebacking core for the Browns, guys like Jacob Phillips, Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, Anthony Walker, I don't think neither one of those guys play special teams. JOK played it last year, but I think he's going to be such more of a integral part of what the core defense is that I don't think they're going to want to risk him on special teams. So, guys like Taki, Fields.
I'm trying to think who I was hearing that said they was ready to play some special teams on some punt return shit. I don't know if it was
was it a linebacker? Was it Dale Pitt?
No, they talking about running it back. Is it home? Who did we just get from Dallas?
Who we just get from Dallas?
Yeah, what's receiver name?
Amari Cooper.
Cooper play special teams, because I think it might have been Cooper that was talking about.
Cooper played special teams in college.
Yeah, I think
before he had a number 1 receiver, when he was a number 2 receiver.
I think Cooper might be trying to run it back. I don't know if they're gonna let him, but I did hear him talking about it.
Bruh, Cooper and Jakeem Grant playing special teams is wrong. Now I'm gonna tell you why. Because if they're going to double Cooper a lot, and he's gonna be a decoy per se, and it's something like this, to me, could speak to the maturity of Kevin Stefanski as an offensive play caller. Because if you're looking at it, how I look at it sometimes too, it's like this guy is not going to always get an opportunities to get the ball from that position. So I'm going to need to move him around in places where I know he's going to get the ball. If you did Jakeem Grant on kickoffs and Amari Cooper on punts, whoo-wee! Hey, the Browns special teams unit dangerous because even still, excuse me, y'all. The ice cream hitting the spot, y'all. Excuse me. It's one of them cherry cheesecake blizzard joints from Dairy Queen. Shout out to DQ for the delicious snack. All right, they ain't sponsoring us or nothing though. I just wanted to shout them out because I was eating a snack. All right. What was I at? Special teams. Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper. Let's just say Amari Cooper is on the punt team. You could literally have him run one back. You know what I'm saying? On some whole other shit. But I'm thinking too, if he tired, let's just say he run it, he get it, he returned like 30 yards, 40 yards, he a little gassed. So when we come out on that next offensive possession, that first offensive play, if Amari Cooper is not on the field, opposing defense is going to want to stack the box. You know what I'm saying? Because they figure, the Browns going to run, which plays into the Browns' favor because now if you got DPJ and David Bell out there with David Njoku, you're giving all these guys one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they doing Kareem and Chubb in the backfield together. Now you know for a fact you getting one-on-one somewhere. All right? And to me, DPJ and David Bell could definitely consistently be some one-on-ones. They may not be the most stellar at it right now in their careers, but they can definitely be some one-on-ones. So, putting Amari Cooper on a punt kickoff team definitely guarantees he gets so many touches because in that sense you're saying I can rely on my defense enough to make sure we get so many punts a game or chances to get a punt, get off the field on third down. Now we're playing field position. Even if Amari Cooper returns it and then he plays the next play and they think he gassed and he hits them over top, that's still adding to it because now Amari Cooper is an effective weapon wherever he's at on the field. And then you still forget about Jakeem Grant. So I like the fact that he came out and said that. And I actually hope they do something with it. Because I like DPJ more of a Donovan Peoples-Jones, for those who don't know who DPJ is. I like him more as a receiver per se than a gadget guy. Now, if you want to hit him off with the gadget you ain't know he could do that sometimes, that's cool. But as like a reliable thing, I can't get with that. Back to more players on this special teams. So, like I say, on the linebacker side, I figure Tony Fields and Taki definitely gonna play. Silas Kelly has the size. He looked like a guy that may make impact on this roster. He's from Coastal Carolina, undrafted rookie. They got Dakota Allen too here. Dakota Allen's from Texas Tech, been in the league quite a few years. I like Silas though. I like his build. I gotta watch some more tape on him, but I like his build, and he could possibly be one of those, undrafted guys that get on the roster because the Browns tend to do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? AJ Green still here. MJ Stewart just went on about his way as an undrafted guy. You know what I mean? We still got Curtis Weaver on the roster as a guy, so I'm gonna get to that in a second. But okay, so that's at least two guys, for sure, maybe even three. Then you go to, like I say, the running back room, right? Let's just say they run with all five running backs. That tells me that Jerome Ford, and Demetric Felton, they definitely playing special teams for sure. That's how they gonna earn their bread on special teams, which would actually be kind of cool because when Jakeem Grant in, you could do, reverses and shit like that, with your special teams doing in certain situations. So that may play out to be pretty good. Defensive backs. that might play on special teams. Now, mind you, now look, all right, we already know 3 of these guys is going to get heavy rotation minutes in the safety position, right? Grant Delpit, John Johnson III, and Ronnie Harrison. These guys are penciled in to be the main, get the bulk of the minutes at that position. So a guy like Richard LeCount is definitely going to play a lot of special teams, where he could probably make his mark. You know, I think special teams is a good tackling. You want to encourage that your team has a lot of kickoffs. You know, whether we kicking the ball off or they punting the ball and we getting a return a lot. Those are 2 things you want on your special teams. You want a lot of practice in. But you know, and will they run with a 5th safety? That's, you know, that leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, they got, let me see, Nate Meters on the roster. They got these guys are in their 2nd year. Who else they got? Who's this, a running back? Oh, this is safety, DeAnthony Bell. DeAnthony Bell's a 25-year-old rookie from West Florida, but he has nice size at 6'1", 211. So maybe he a guy that could, you know, maybe he a guy who would slip in there. All right. But let's just say Richard LeCount for sure on there. All right. And we'll see what Luther Kirk and DeAnthony Bell do to see what they can do to make a mark. So that's at least 3 guys on special teams, maybe 4. All right. And then you get to, I'm sorry, that's 6, because I forgot about Felton and Fields. So that's 6, right? Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm counting y'all, and just so people could be with me and be like, where is he going with all this, okay? When it comes down to the roster, it's only 53 guys on the roster. One would assume, one could assume, because the Browns already have 3 guys that guaranteed to play special teams. The kicker, the punter, and the long snapper. Charlie Huglet has been with us for like 7 years. He's been to the Pro Bowl like 3 or 4 times for his long snap. So that's 3 roster spots already accounted for. So you figure you go 25 on offense, 25 on defense. That's just the base guesstimate. All right. Even if you do that, right, you got 22 for one side and 22 for the other side. So it's 22 for offense, 22 for defense. And that's just me counting exactly a starter and a backup for each position on the offense and defense. So that's 44. That's 47. It's a 53-man roster that leaves you with 6. So I just counted out 6 players. I just want y'all to follow me on the map. I counted out 6 players already. All right, with Felton, Ford, LeCount, Taki, Tony Fields, and I guess the 6th one is a blend. If I just pick a specific player, I would say I'm gonna just go Silas Kelly. I'm gonna just say Silas Kelly. All right, so Silas Kelly, my 6th round. Maybe he may not make it, maybe he do. All right, but in between that, right? So if you already got 3, you got 6, that's 9. You still need 2 more players that's gonna play your special teams for you. All right. So whether that be offensive lineman or defensive lineman, now it really just depends, because when you're doing field goal protection, you run with a lot of offensive linemen, right? So, you know, in our offensive line, we got our mainstay guys. You already know Batonio, Teller, Conklin, Willis, Wheels. I don't know why I always call him Wheels. Jedrick Wheels. And then, you know, Nick Harris right now. All right. But you got Pochich backing behind him. He could be a guy that can play a lot of special teams when it comes to blocking for punters and kickers. You definitely expect to see what's my guy left tackle over there, Hudson. You automatically expect to see Hudson down there quite a few times. Another offensive tackle that we got that's been with us a couple seasons is Alex Taylor. Now, Alex Taylor like 6'8", bro. And I feel like he can make the squad. because if you put him, and then you got, they high on Hubbard. I'm not high on Hubbard like that. But James Hudson is 6'5", and Alex Taylor is 6'8". That's two nice guys that you can have backing up Wills and Conklin. All right. And I would love to see, probably two guys that can really get their game up on a special team, because, what I'm saying, we probably gonna kick a lot of field goals, extra points, clutch field goals. That's probably gonna be good playing time for them. And then on the kickoff return, sometimes on the kickoff return, that first set of guys, that first row of guys sometimes be offensive linemen, or a combination of offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So you may catch guys up there, use some tackles, guys that's a little more athletic. Even on the backup side. Now, the question is, how many offensive linemen will we go into the season with? Now, I'm going to say at least 8. So you got your 5 starters I named. You got Pochich. You got Hudson. And then one more. Now, depending on how well they play versus how well the defensive linemen play, could be 9. But I'm going to go 8 for sure. And why I'm going to go 8? Because with 8 linemen, even if you lose one, you're still pretty good. No, let's go 9. Now that I'm speaking it out loud, let's go 9. So you get, because Chris Hubbard, I don't like Chris Hubbard, but Chris Hubbard gonna play. So we're gonna go 9, right? So you got your 5, and you come behind them with Hubbard, Pochich, Hudson, and like I say, I like Alex Taylor. It's not impossible to think that the Browns may go into there with 10, and I say that because I'm thinking about the other guy that they drafted, Dayton Dawson. And the guy who could probably, I don't think he's a center. I think he's a guard. I don't think he never played any other position but center. But I think he'll transition to a guard pretty nicely. He could be a guy that's learning behind Hubbard to take that spot, which I would love. But like I say, you can have some of those guys play special teams a little bit. And I think that would help the special team. Because, listen, the Browns special teams can be in a position to have to win or give us the advantage in 5 or 6 of these games. All right. And I don't expect them to be stellar or impossible to beat. I don't expect them not to fail all the time or to succeed every time. Like, it's gonna be a give and take. Maybe it's 3-3, maybe it's 4-2. Maybe it's 1-5, maybe it's 5-1. It depends. But with the additions we made, with the depth of this roster, it's gonna get real nice, man. And saying that, it has me high hopes of the Browns season. I don't care who the quarterback is, whether it's Deshaun all season or half the season or majority of the season, and he just missed partial time or halftime, and Jacoby Brissett got to fill in. I don't think it's going to matter. As far as the team being challenging, being able to compete at a high level, to be able to dominate games in certain aspects and facets, I don't see where the drop off would be at, even if the quarterback is different. So and I was saying, I was talking to some guys earlier, and I was saying, the Browns won 8 and 9 last year, and the only things we could really depend on last year was the running game. I forgot to mention the offensive line, but the running game, the offensive line for the most part, the defensive line, and the defensive backfield. So our quarterback, receivers, special teams, and linebacking core, I ain't going to say it was non-existent, but it wasn't really rating no headlines for real. So we brought back the same defensive backfield. We just added to it. We made improvements on the defensive line, brought back the mainstays, made key additions to the passing game. And like I said, they went 8-9 last year. Why can't the Browns win 11 games? why couldn't they maintain the 8 games that they've been at least winning for the past 4 seasons? Okay? And add 3 more wins to that. All right? And to me, with Deshaun, bro, listen, Deshaun upset, bro. The Cavs, I'm sorry, I keep saying the Cavs. The Browns upset. Listen, they don't play with a lot of attitude. The receiving core, though, speaking on that, is going to be the most interesting part of training camp, besides the linebacking core, excuse me. Because it's some guys down here that really want to play with Deshaun Watson with QB at the helm. Now, coming into training camp, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 receivers. Now, 12, because I ain't accounting Amari Cooper. I don't see his name up here, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, I did count it. Okay, so 11 receivers, all right? And let me name them all. David Bell, Jamarcus Bradley, Amari Cooper, Jakeem Grant, Mike Hartley, Travell Harris, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, Isaiah Weston, and Javon Williams, and Michael Woods II. All right? 2 players that stand out to me is Isaiah Weston and Michael Woods II. I so want those 2 to make the roster. Isaiah Weston is a speedster, 6'4". He's athletic. And he's like 25, I think. How old is Weston? How old is Weston? He's like 24. All right. So he's a little bit older on the rookie side, but he could be our not with the negative, just as far as a skill set. I think he could give us Josh Gordon vibes. You know what I'm saying? He could be one of those guys. So I'm really interested to see how he grabs attention during training camp and the preseason. Michael Woods II, who's a route runner, possession guy. I think he's a guy that could really turn a lot of heads in training camp and in the preseason. So I really want those 2 guys to make the team. Travell Harris and Mike Hartley Jr. So Hartley is a undrafted guy from Miami, Florida, and Travell is a undrafted guy from Washington State. Older guys, 23 and 24, 24 and 23 respectively, from the names how I call them. Travell Harris is a 5'8" guy, so I think a guy like that is going to really have to wow. Not that size always matters, but for the division we play in, if you're going to be a small guy, you got to be able to light it up. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Mike Harley, I think, is a guy that has a potential. From what I've seen from the OTAs, he was making some really good catches and getting some good separation. So he could be an interesting head turner. Amari Cooper, Jakeem Grant, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz. Unless they just have absolutely horrible, terrible, frightening preseasons, training camps, I doubt anything changes with them as far as being on the roster. What I will question, though, is do the Browns add 2 more receivers? Or do they only add 1 more receiver? Because they only got 2 official tight ends. Like, if we look at who we know on the team, right? We know the 6 linemen is on the team, right? Let's say 8. We know for a fact 8 offensive linemen are definitely going to make that roster, all right? And that's with Conklin, Teller. I don't know. I think I mentioned Teller the first time. Conklin, Teller, Harris, Batonio, Wills, Hubbard, Pochich, and Hudson. All right, that's 8. You know for a fact at least 3 running backs making this roster. All right, Hunt, Chubb, and Dearness Johnson. That's 11. You know for a fact 3 quarterbacks making this roster. All right, Watson, with Brissett and Dobbs. So now you at 14. All right. You go 2 tight ends, you at 16. And then you count 4 receivers, you at 20. So remember earlier I was talking about breaking it down 5 and 5. I mean 25 and 25, which is 3 special teamers. Okay. So now just adding about the guys we know for a fact gonna be on the team. That's 20 slots already guaranteed for the roster. So that leaves 5 additional offensive spots open. All right. If they go 2 running backs, that means a tight end, some receivers, some offensive linemen, they cut short. If they go 2 linemen or 1 more offensive lineman, somebody cut short. If they go now, this could depending on how many players come on the defense. We didn't get to defense yet, but that could be, but it's 5 spots there. All right. Now, who has the best chance? Like I said, I like Felton and Ford. I like Woods and Weston. As far as the linemen go, on the extra side, Blake has been with us for a minute. So has Forbes. So has Dunn. But I like Alex Taylor a little more as a young guy and he's built. I think he just got to get his strength up. I think he athletically got it, or maybe obviously I got to figure it out. That's 5 right there. So it just depends. We got to see, all right? But that's going to be interesting. What offensive players get those last 5 spots? That's going to be interesting. As far as the defense is concerned, all right, we already know. As far as the defensive line, Miles, Jadavian, Bryant, Taven Bryan, Perion Winfrey, Tommy Togiai, Jordan Elliott, Alex Wright. So that's 7. As far as linebackers, you already know it's going to be J.O.K., Jacob Phillips, Anthony Walker, Sione Takitaki, and Fields. So that's 12. And then you go with your cornerbacks. You got Ward, Williams, Newsome, Green, and Emerson. All right, so that's 17. Then in your safety room, you got John Johnson, Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Grant Delpit, and Richard LeCompte. All right, so that's 21. All right, so for a fact that 44 slots on this Browns roster, barring crazy circumstance, 44 slots is already guaranteed on this roster, which is, let me take time out in saying that and recognizing that to give a kudos and a shouts out, props, great recognition, what I'm saying, to that Browns front office. All right, because I can't remember the last time we said, bro, we got 44 guaranteed roster spots, and just before we add the other 9, those 44 roster spots are legitimate title contenders. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time coming. On top of that age group average about 25 years old, maybe 26. And that's including all the elders and all the youngers around the guys that's actually 24, 25, 26. All right? So, those last 9 roster spots. So, that's really the question for y'all. Like, who do you think takes the last 9 roster spots? That's going to be fun to see. These position battles coming up in free agency is going to be crazy. All right? Now, even with that said, let's get to the actual season a little bit. Who breaks out this year? Who has breakout seasons this year? All right? I'm going to tell you who my picks are. My first pick is Greedy Williams. All right? Greedy has been here going on his 4th year. His first year, he was cool. His second year, he was injured. His third year, he just finally got back a little bit. Now he's going into his fourth year where he's coming in healthy. He has a full off season with a contending team, a new environment. All right. And for some reason, he keeps getting lost between Newsome and Emerson. Like, they forgot who Greedy Williams was. Like, even though he was taken in the second round, he wasn't considered the best defensive back in that draft. Or one of them for sure. I think that was the Derwin James. Whatever the case, though. All right. No. Was that Derwin James? Yeah, was that Derwin and Baker or not? Yeah, whatever the case, though. No. It was the year before. It was. No, yeah. Yeah. Whatever the case. Don't forget, man. Greedy's still that guy. He's going to be a shutdown guy opposite side of Ward. I think this staff sees that. That's why they start moving Newsome to the inside, where you could legitimately run, Ward and Greedy on the outside and do some crazy combination of Newsome, Dale Pitt, and JOK as your inside guys, covering, or some old other crazy. They can do a lot of things with those lineups. So, boy, I'm happy, y'all. I'm sorry about the pause. I'm just so happy. You know what I'm saying? We getting past all the controversy, getting past all the BS, bro. And the Browns, even after all the dust settles on that, the Browns still have one of the best teams in the league. And it's been so long, so we, as Browns fans, have been able to just relish in those type of luxuries to know for sure that regardless of what happens, you know what I'm saying, our team is official. Bro, that's different. You know what I'm saying? That's different, man. So, Greedy is my breakout player on defense. On offense, my breakout season player is Kareem Hunt. I feel like Kareem Hunt, playing with a guy like Deshaun Watson, who hasn't played. Deshaun hasn't played with a running back like that before. A guy who's a threat running and receiving from the backfield. So I just think the way he's going to be utilized, especially on the field with Nick Chubb in a lot of situations, yeah, it's going to get drastic. It's going to get real drastic. So those are my two breakout players. My most improved players. And I'm going to go crazy too, right? Now, I'm going to give an honorable mention first, because in the conversation I was having earlier today, somebody brought this name up, and it makes sense. And that was Tommy Togiai. All right? I would absolutely love for Tommy Togiai to take a step and be that rock-solid defensive run-stopping block soaker. All right? That defensive run-stopping block soaker. Run stuffy block soaker. I know it's tongue-tied, it's a lot. But if he could do that, all right, and you put that with Taven Bryant, who is actually my player, most improved player, I think Taven Bryant is going to have a really good season in between Jadeveon and Miles, especially since he's played, with Yannick and Yannick and then Ngakwe. He's played with Josh Allen. He's played with a Calais Campbell. Like, he's played with quite a few guys. I think Alu, or maybe he was a replacement for Alu. However, though, he's played with some pretty good guys on the defensive line. But none of those guys are Miles and Jadeveon. Even though those guys are great and they're right, they ain't Miles and Jadeveon. So I expect him to be the most improved player on offense. On defense. On offense, my most improved player is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Njoku, Chubb, Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson, Kareem Hunt is going to draw so much attention. Even Jakeem Grant, when he comes in the game, is going to draw so much attention. A guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones should have a Pro Bowl year. His opportunities will be there. Does he make the most of them? I think he does. But he is my most improved player on offense this year, for sure. MVP of both sides. So on defense, right, for the Browns. Now, mind you, I'm doing a lot of prejudging and assuming, right? Put that out there. That's just me assuming what I think might happen. But what was I saying, Donovan? Yeah, Donovan. Like, no. I'm sorry, I lost train of thought just so fast. So MVPs. So on defense, I think it's going to be a toss-up between John Johnson, Denzel, and Miles. Miles might get 20 sacks this year, and Jadeveon might get 12. Denzel Ward will have an opportunity for at least 10 interceptions. I don't know if he'll capitalize on all 10, but he's going to get at least 10 chances for an interception this season, for sure. Legitimate chances. John Johnson is the guy I'm favoring the most, because John Johnson could do something like 70 tackles, 4 or 5 sacks, 4 or 5, 6 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3 fumble recoveries, 2, 3 fumble causes. And to me, he's such a all-around guy in this defense that we're playing, that he could sneakily be the engine that allows everybody to do what they do well because of how it's set up. On offense, my 2 guys that it's going to be a toss-up between is Deshaun and Nick Chubb. I don't know who's going to take advantage of what more. Will it be Chubb, with the fact that he's probably going to see one real tackler before in his first 4, 5, 7 yards? Or the fact that Deshaun Watson has so much one-on-one coverage that guys are just getting open just cuz. I don't know who's going to get more of what. It's hard to predict how defenses are going to adjust mid-season. But that right there, both of them two should just be salivating, like, bro. Behind this offensive line, bro, if you make them stack the box, I'm going over top. If they try to play over top, I'm just dumping you off the ball. This is that alone, bro. When you got a quarterback who can run and throw, with a running back who could run, block, you know what I'm saying, and catch. Listen, man. The Browns, they're looking really good. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. I don't know what platform you're streaming or watching this on, but if you is listening and viewing, we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who come through whenever you come through. Make sure you follow us on all social platforms. That's DeeTrynt and InDaStreetzSportz or InDaStreetzSportz. All right, you guys on all social platforms. Mostly all streaming platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, you know what I'm saying, in the works. But we definitely on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know what I'm saying. We have some TikToks going, but we on Twitch and YouTube too. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk. This is talk about the Browns. Like I say, who do y'all think will take the final 9 roster spots that'll be available for the Browns when it comes cut day? You know what I'm saying? Which players you think are going to be breakout players, most improved players, MVP, right? DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. One, stay dangerous.